Okay, this is the fifth song in the series of the Wall album, and this is titled Another Brick in the Wall Part 2. Well, I've listened to Part 1 and I just listened to The Happiest Days of Our Lives, and now I'm going on to Part 2. And that last one really kind of got me fired up. So let's just go into this and see what happens.
We don't need no education. We don't need no thought control. No dark sarcasm in the classroom. Teacher, leave them kids alone. Hey! Teacher, leave them kids alone. All in all, it's just another brick in the wall. All in all, you're just another brick in the wall. We don't need no education. We don't need no full control. No dark sarcasm.
Yeah. I see what's happening here. It's inevitable. In that kind of abusive situation, there's going to be a backlash. It is so tragic and so upsetting. And this children's chorus proclaiming that they don't need education. It's, again, it's so wrong and it's so right. And it's so understandable and it's so horrible. And it's a cycle of abuse. There's no way that something like this can be good. All right, I'm going to go on. Back up just a little.
Full control. No dark sarcasm in the classroom. Teachers, leave them kids alone. Hey, teacher, leave
Well, okay. I want to talk a little bit about the music. I think I've said enough about my emotional reaction here, and it was quite strong. But obviously, these two, the happiest days of our lives and part 2 of Another Brick in the Wall, are strongly linked. They could even be one song, except that they're kind of musically a different style. So this Another Brick in the Wall part 2, it's musically, it's a chant, it's a children's song. It's very simple. It has no sophistication to it. I guess that is exactly what it should be. Because this kind of brick in the wall is incredibly brutal. It's incredibly unsophisticated. Of course, there can be all kinds of sophisticated means of achieving it, but the end result is incredibly unsophisticated. And there's no art, there's no emotion, there's no connection. It's just a mindless chant, and the only emotion is revolt against it, which is very well conveyed by this sort of chant style, like a protest. You know, you can imagine the kids out holding signs and saying, "Leave us alone, we're done with you." So I think that musically, it's a perfect setting for this, to communicate this end result. I didn't mention it earlier, but in the previous song, The Happiest Days of Our Lives, the last phrase when it's talking about the teachers getting home and their fat psychopathic wives thrashing them within inches of their lives, it's just, that's the grown-up generation who had this same experience as a child years before. And so what you see happening is the same cycle happening over and over again, generationally. And yeah, you want to see me get fired up? Make me look at something like this. But musically, I want to make sure that I'm not neglecting the music, even though I had such a strong reaction here. And so I wanted to bring out, there's not a lot of musical content here. Intentionally, appropriately. It's crude, it's boring, it's unimaginative, and it's supposed to be that way. And there's this sort of deadening pulse rhythm in the percussion that just goes on and on and on, because that's what's happening in real life here. And I remember in the first discussion with Carl, when I introduced him and his 2 colleagues to you, we had this discussion about what is rock music, and one of the things that he used as a definition to lay out and identify rock music is that it has to be disturbing. Is this ever disturbing? and of course it has the drums and the percussion that the drums and the guitar that he said also has to be, but this is very much disturbing. And if that's rock music, then I guess this is rock music for sure. All right, so that was song number 5. I'll go on and see what's next.